How's everyone doing? My name is Casey Coleman. I am the Associate Social Media Director for NewGradPhysicalTherapy.com. I'm here today with the CEO of Fitbux, Joseph Reinke. If you guys don't know about Fitbux by now, this is your formal introduction. This is your welcome, and you need this. This is definitely for you, no matter if you're a soon-to-be new grad right now, pre-physical therapy student, been in the field for a few years. This is about your financial health, your financial freedom. So that is why we are bringing this piece of content to you. So listen up, pay attention, share with your friends, and help me welcome the CEO of Fitbux, Mr. Joseph Reinke. How are you doing, Mr. Reinke?
I'm doing great, Casey. Thanks for having me. Excited, actually. We haven't made an official announcement yet. I know a lot of the PTs out there, they've heard of Fitbux. A lot of them have used us. We're actually going to be expanding into OTs. So we're launching that hopefully the next couple weeks. And then we're also launching for students that are current students, like a student loan ambassador program to try to get students more involved. So some big things happening, and excited to be here and, go through some different information. Like you said, put people on the good financial path after they graduate and go from there.
Perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it. So just give us a general introduction for the people who don't know. Just tell us what Fitbux is and what's it about, and how your company can help new grad PTs and OTs as well.
Yeah, so at the root of what we're doing in some of our technology is called the Fitbux score, and what we do with that is help you understand. We use it to help you understand very easily what different repayment options are available to you, and then turning around and showing you some different types of repayment options. But more importantly, how do those repayment options affect the bigger part of your life? Like one of our sayings is, your student loan shouldn't dictate what you're doing, it should complement what you're doing. So we're able to show, okay, well, based on your customized situation, based on you, this is the type of repayment plan you should, take advantage of. And here's an alternative one that you can take advantage of. Here's the pros and cons between the two. This is the disadvantages between both of them, and this is how you maximize both of them. So that way you can really make the decision that's customized to you and take advantage of the different repayment plans, and then go from there and make sure that you can still save for retirement, save for housing, family planning, all that fun stuff, and we're able to complement or design those strategies and customize them to you.
So let's get into some more information about, Fitbux and what are some good things we're doing as new grads or soon to be new grads now, what we can do as we graduate, what we can do to hedge this loan amount or our finances. So with your experience with new grads, Joseph, what are some of like the biggest mistakes that you've seen most of us doing so far with our finances and student loans?
So when it comes to student loans specifically, there's probably 3 or 4 kind of major mistakes that we see. One, consolidation. Okay, and a lot of people don't understand what that term is. It just means merging your loans into one big loan. When you consolidate like that blindly, you actually can potentially really diminish your options, and it can end up costing you thousands in the long run. Okay, so the first one is just blindly consolidating. Another one is just what we call going on an income-driven repayment plan and not really knowing what they consist of. Meaning, okay, well, I dropped my payment, but that's only part of it. Your loan balance continues to grow. There's a tax at the end of it. So how do you effectively use that plan and take advantage of it? Instead of just blindly going in and saying, oh, I dropped my payment, everything's great. And then the third big one that we see is people just refinancing and wanting to, and then going from federal to private loans. And not really understanding how to take advantage of the private loans and the refinancing, both to save money and at the same time keep budget flexibility in their day-to-day cash flow and whatnot. So those are the big 3: is people just blindly consolidating, going into an income-driven repayment plan without fully understanding what they are, and then just also blindly blindly refinancing just because it sounds good that, you can save $20,000. And it's like, well, you don't always really save $20,000. So those are the big three that we see.
What are some of the best things that we as new grads or soon-to-be new grads can do right now to hedge against those losses or those consolidations? What if we already consolidated now and we're kind of stuck, or maybe we are about to graduate soon and we need some guidance, some general advice as to our finances and student loans? What are some things we can do right now?
So as a student, it's just start learning what your options are and start planning. And at Fitbux, we break those down into two options. You're going to pay down your loans or go into an income-driven repayment plan. So really getting an understanding of what those options are, because that's going to dictate what you really do today. And then putting together a plan for when you graduate. So that 6-month grace period, which after you graduate, you can defer your loans for 6 months. Really putting a game plan together, saying how much money am I going to need during that time? When am I going to start working? Because you definitely want to put yourself on a good financial footing. And that means having some cash in the bank so that way you can, if you have an emergency, you have money. So start planning around that and really just starting to educate yourself on what are my different options and what are available. What do these words like consolidation mean and refinance mean and income-driven repayment plans? What does all this stuff mean? And just try to gather as much knowledge as you can.
Gotcha. So moving on a little bit, for those that are pretty familiar with Fitbux and kind of following the loans, they're going to pay them back soon. Some of them might have been hearing about what's going on with Navient and some other loan companies, like having some type of overbilling, overcharging with the loans. For those who are pretty up to date with their loans in the finances world and all that news, can we go a little deeper for them? And can you talk about what's going on with these big companies that a lot of students, a lot of PTs, a lot of OTs may have loans with?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, oftentimes what we see, like we'll sit down with a new member of Fitbux and walk through a plan with them, and they say, okay, this is the plan that I want to do. And then they go to their loan servicer and tell them, this is what I want to do, implement this, and they just get basically bullied into, this program or that program, and it's like, why are you guys telling me about these other programs? I don't want to do it. We even have, one member I just talked to today, she specifically said, I want to go on this plan, and it said, okay, after telling her about like 6 other plans, they finally told her, yeah, you can go into that. Then they sent her the documents, and it was for the completely wrong plan. Okay? So that's the first thing that we always see is loan servicers just trying to put people in the wrong plan. And the reason being that they do that is by law, they have to tell you about certain plans and try to push you into certain plans. So that's why they constantly talk to you about those when you call them. And you just got to be adamant saying, no, this is what I want to do. Do it. Okay? So that's first and foremost. But the bigger problem, so like you brought up Navient and getting sued, there's different strategies in terms of how you make a payment and how is that payment allocated. And you specifically want it allocated to very specific loans because that's going to help you pay them off faster and save money in the long run. And so what the loan servicers typically do is when you make an extra payment, they'll just disperse it across all your loans. And that's not what you want them to do. You want that, really drill down into specific loans. And because they do that, again, it costs you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in the long run. So that's the biggest thing that they do. And then if you're refinancing some of your loans, they tend not to pay off the correct loans as well. So you need to follow up on that to make sure they're paying off the loans. So in summary, what their biggest mistake that they're doing is they're not applying your payments correctly, which in the long run it costs thousands of dollars. And we saw this so often, and so many people asking us for help. That's actually, Casey, that's one of the pieces of technology we built out was you can link your student loan accounts to your Fitbux profile, and then we track it for you to make sure that they're doing it right. And if they're not, we call you up and say, hey, let's get on the phone with them and make sure that they reallocate these payments because they're messing this up. But it's a major issue. And to give you one example, we had somebody that made an extra payment of like $3,000 last week. they put the payment to the wrong loan, and if that would end up being caught in the long run, it would have cost them about $5,000 or a little bit over $5,000 in extra interest charges. So you want to make sure that they're doing it correctly, and that's the big problem with Navient. And actually all the loan servicers, from Fed Loans to Great Lakes to Nelnet and across the board.
Diving deeper into what else you do in your company for new grad PTs, new grad OTs, what else besides like tracking and saving money that way do you do for your customers?
Yeah, so we break it up. That part that we just talked about is actually what we call the implementation component of the strategy. The first part of it is developing the strategy. So we sit down and we customize it to you as an individual and say, okay, based on your goals, are you doing like residency, starting your own business? What about family planning? Are you getting married? Anything of that nature, and really drill down and customize the strategy for you. And that development of the strategy is all free. We don't charge anything for that. And then on the implementation side, we talked about the tracking component. There's two other things that we do. One, if part of your strategy is refinancing, we'll show you how to maximize the refinance based on your situation. And then we have 4 lending partners that we use. And we go out, we shop those lending partners. Or like if you have a co-signer, for example, we have one lender that will give you a really good rate. But another lender that we have is awesome. They basically come in and told us that they have guaranteed to beat basically any rate that's out there. And so we can walk through that process and pretty much guarantee that, to our members that they're going to get one of the best rates in the market if they're going to refinance. So that's part of the implementation component. And then the last part of the implementation component is if you're going to go on the income journal repayment plan, we help you start saving for the tax liability that's due at the end of it. And we haven't rolled out the new service yet, but it's coming out. We're going to start testing it probably next month and then roll it out in the first quarter, is to actually start managing the money for that tax liability for people and helping people with like their 401k investments and 403b retirement investments and all that stuff. So that stuff's coming down the pike. But the big 3 that we're doing right now is helping you refinance, so that's part of your plan, and then helping track your payments to make sure that the loan servicers are doing it correctly. And then if you're going on an income journal repayment plan, to help track and make sure that you're saving for the tax appropriately.
So in all reality, it really sounds like you're saving our life. Like, so...
Don't know about that. It's just the financial life, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and that's a super big component of it. So, like, what's driving you right now? What made you say, okay, I want to help? And you might be helping some other professions or some medical professions and whatnot. But like, what's driving you? Why are you choosing? Let's just say you're only working with PTs and OTs. What's really driving you to work with us and give us all this information and basically save our financial life for the future?
Well, it starts off, it's actually multi-level. The first level is, why are we even doing Fitbux to begin with? Okay, and from the high level, and this sounds weird because I'm a finance guy. I've been around finance now for 13, 14 years. I'm an investor. So everybody thinks that my life revolves around money. And my point of view on it was I always did these things because I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted to do in my life and not have to think about money. Okay? And just learn so much about some of these investment things and all these different aspects that I can now take that knowledge and say, okay, well, let's create a company that, PTs, OTs, whoever it is that we introduce the technology to, the whole goal is to reduce the amount of time that you actually spend having to think about money, because you know that it's taken care of and you can trust that resource. So that way you can go out and actually do what you do as an expert. And one of the reasons why we wanted to go into like medical fields and rehab services and everything is because every PT I've ever met, I mean, you guys aren't doing it because you're trying to make, $10 million. You're doing it because you love helping people. And so that was the primary reason why I even started looking at PTs. And then on top of that, my wife's a PT, so I'm around them constantly. And the more we start looking into what professions should we go into, you start taking that mindset of, okay, well, we want to help people, so that way they don't have to think about money as much as they would otherwise, so that way they can do what they really want to do. And it's like, okay, well, PTs, I don't know one PT that wakes up saying, I'm going to go to PT school because I want to think about my student loans or my money. Like, I want to go to PT school because you want to help people. And so if we're able to help you do that, then that's awesome. That's helping us meet our goals as a company. And then we're expanding into OTs, and then we'll also expand into some other health science fields coming up here pretty soon as well. But from a high level, that's why is the desire to basically reduce, like the whole reason why we started the company was to reduce the amount of time people actually have to think about their money. And two, going into the PT industry, a lot of it had to do with my wife being a PT, but also being around them and saying, these are the type of people that I want to help with this first, and then go from there.
Wow. I'll try to speak for the profession right now and just say thank you. Just honestly, just looking into my future personally, like I just feel like I'm in good hands. Yeah, my loans, my finances are out there, but I know I can always talk to Fitbux, Joe Reinke, his whole team, and I feel secure. Like, honestly, I feel like he just said, I have to worry about it. Of course, I have to track it, all that good stuff, but I feel so much better. And that's why I really wanted to do this piece of content and bring Fitbux on here to give the same feeling to you, because I know there's so many new grads, pre-PTs, veterans in the field, people who've whatever, that are probably feeling overwhelmed, overworked, stressed out, just because of this part of their lives that's giving them so much hassle and so much stress that could be pretty much managed by this company and what they have to offer. And they're coming from absolutely the right place, absolutely a great place to help us. So last question, just in general, whether it's from loans, whether it's general finances, whether it's anything like that, what are some tips for like just general financial freedom when we have our loan repayments, set up, when we have, our interest rates down, all that good stuff, just general financial freedom tips? How do we manage that part of our lives?
Yeah, the biggest thing is simply having a plan. Okay, and the reason why I get frustrated a lot with quote unquote financial professionals is they try to come up with these complex plans of what's the most efficient thing that you can do with your money. And I could sit there and tell anybody all day long what's the most efficient thing. But the efficient thing might not be the thing that you're comfortable doing. And so if you're not comfortable doing it and that's your plan, in the long run you're not going to do it. Okay? And therefore the plan's not very good. So if you're planning, first and foremost, you have to be comfortable with it and understand why you're doing it. Okay, you don't have to be an expert in it. Just understand from a high level why you're doing it and be comfortable with it. So have a plan and be comfortable. And the third leg of that is, especially if you're new to the world of money and you're a novice at it, keep it simple. Okay, just keep it as simple as you can. And once you feel like you have a good grasp on that, if you want to, take it to the next level. If not, then you can just keep it simple. As long as you keep it simple and have a plan, you stick to it, in the long run, you're going to be okay. And that's the key thing, is keeping it simple, having a plan, and making sure that you're comfortable with that plan.
Absolutely invaluable advice. It's simple, but it's perfect for us and where we're at. So once again, thank you so much for not only being on this piece of content, but being on other podcasts, being on other videos, working with other PT professionals, OT professionals, other people in the medical field. Like, I see you and your company absolutely everywhere. So thank you again. So for the people who want to find you, reach out to you for more information, get in touch, talk about their finances and their loans, where can they find you?
Just go to Fitbux.com. And you can create your profile. It's all free. Once you create your profile, you can schedule a time, and we get on a call and start chatting, and go through, start developing a plan for you, and take it from there. If you want to message us, there's an email to contact us on Fitbux.com. You can Also, reach us on Facebook. It's Fitbux Official, so we're there as well. So those are the two primary ways, Fitbux.com and then Fitbux Official on Facebook.
All right, there you have it, guys. Fitbux.com, Fitbux.com. Thank you again, Mr. Joseph Reinke. You guys look up Fitbux and stay financially healthy.